I took on the burden to take care of everyone and everything and take on multiple jobs. I used to work like two jobs, sometimes three jobs at a time. I can do it. I'll do this. I'll do that. Um, and it was really hard for me, even though I was taking on a lot of responsibility for everybody. It was just really hard.
All right, there we are. We are live. Hello, my name is Trisha Joe Roberts, and welcome to the Mind Blowing Happiness Podcast. Today, we're talking to women's empowerment mentor and the author of the new book, 7 Steps to a Golden Life, a guided journal for Black women healing from childhood trauma, Anjali Morris. And in addition to that, it's World Meditation Day, so we're celebrating that as well. Hi, Anjali, how are you?
I'm doing well. How you doing today?
I'm good. It's good to
Good.
see you. So I've been working with Anjali, I want to say for about a year, helping her bring her book into fruition. And we've gotten
Mhm.
so connected that we are wearing the same colors entirely by accident.
I know. That's so
This was
crazy.
not planned. But so Anjali initially found me through Iyanla Van Zant's Facebook live stream when she was supporting my previous book, 12 Steps to Mind Blowing Happiness.
Right.
And after we met, I found out that she was a New Yorker, and then we just like totally clicked after that. And as I've gotten to know her over the past year, I've just fallen in love with her work. I think she is one of the sweetest, most evolved, kindest people
Oh,
that
thank
I've
you.
known. And I
Thank
love
you.
the work that you're doing. But before we get into it, what I'd like you to do is, in honor of World Meditation Day, we're going to take 3 breaths together. So you ready?
Sure. Yes, definitely.
Okay. And it
Ready.
doesn't matter where you are. So, like, if you're listening to this podcast and you're driving or something like that, you can do this with us. And we're just going to take 3 cleansing breaths. It's a great way to just calm your nervous system. And it's so accessible to you. So, let's just do that real quick. So, just sit up straight,
Hmm.
keep your eyes open if you're driving or something. And we're going to just inhale through your nose, let the belly fill, and then exhale through your mouth with a sigh. And we'll do it 2 more times. Inhale through your nose, exhale through your mouth with a sigh. The louder the sigh, the better. I'm on Zoom, which it clears these background noises, so you may not be able to hear me, but I'm making them as loud as I can. All right, so the third one, inhale through your nose, exhale with a sigh. All right, now we're all calm and in the zone and everything. So my first question for you, Anjali,
Hmm.
your book, which I have here, is so beautiful and
Thank you.
so like personal. You really tell your story. Can you tell us what made you even decide to write this book?
Yes. Well, I always wanted to be an author, but originally I wanted to start with a book like this specifically because I find that women are important in the world. And so I wanted to write this book to let them know if they are experiencing any childhood trauma or have in the past, that they're not alone.
Right.
And if they can also get over that pain or trauma in their lives and live the life that they truly desire and love if they are willing to take the steps to do so.
Yeah, and in your book, you give so many wonderful steps. And I love that you came up with this idea of a golden life. Do you want to
Mhm.
talk a little bit about like what does it mean to have a golden life?
To live a golden life is the joy you experience when you're living in your full potential. And you're honoring your true potential and your values. And you're not just sitting waiting for life to change for you and you're creating the life you love each and every moment of your life, basically.
I love that. So, so really creating the life that you love in every moment of your life. So
Hmm.
our topic today, of course, is based on your book, which is How to Live a Golden Life. And a lot of people have grown up with trauma, and your book really gives a voice to these folks, like myself included. I know you and me have spoken about these things before.
Oh, yeah. Hmm.
What would you say was the most difficult part of your childhood?
Well, being that I was the oldest child of five siblings, it was really difficult because I didn't have anyone to go to. Everyone came to me for everything. So it was really difficult growing up. And so as I got older, it was really hard for me to, ask for help and accept help from others. And so I basically did everything by myself. And so that was a difficult part in order to learn how to accept help from others um,
And
and accept it.
you were the oldest of how many?
Five.
Five. And
Hmm.
you were responsible for your siblings from how old?
Originally started from three.
I asked
Hmm.
you that question specifically because I know when we started working on the book and I
Yeah.
saw that, I was like, oh my God, I can't even, you know, imagine being
Hmm.
responsible for someone else at 3 years old, you know?
Hmm.
But I'm
Yeah.
sure that your story is not, it's not that uncommon, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. As I learn now, that it's not uncommon, and a lot of people experience that. Just they don't know how to let go of that pain and the hurt that they are still continuing to feel at today. And that's why I wanted to create a space for them to basically take home and take their time and really let go of the pain and burden that they are feeling today.
So can you like, I want you, I know this is the first time that you're going live.
Oh, yes. Yes, it is. Yes, it definitely is.
So I'm going to
Hmm.
ask you something that you're not expecting.
All right, let's
Now,
go.
I want you to talk about like what is a golden day life for you? Because your book is really about this idea of, you know, living in this joy, this golden life, even if you've gone through some of the most difficult types of trauma or childhood. So
Hmm.
now I know that your life is very full of joy and things that I'm not going to say. I'm going to let you say them. But I want you to think about what a really beautiful, golden, joyful day looks like for you. And just give
Okay.
us some ideas of what your joy feels like. Like, I want to feel it from you.
Um, on a day, a joyful day. Well, actually, I live every day, and I try to live every day in the moment. Um, I usually every single morning I wake up looking out the window. I wake up early in the morning, about 5:50 in the morning, and the sky just lit up with different colors. So I usually just look out the window and I sit there and I be at awe at the sight of it. And I also
So when you look out the
I
window, you're looking at trees or
the
birds or
the
nature. Like, what are you seeing?
trees, the nature, the really the clouds, and the sun rising. I look at all of that, and I just be like, oh my gosh, look how beautiful, and I
So
just be
it's
so thankful.
gratitude. You know,
I'd be
it's
so
starting the day
thankful.
with gratitude.
Yes, I do.
Mhm. And
Um,
mindfulness, focusing on the natural world. And I mean,
mhm.
sometimes just the fact that you woke up, because not everybody's going to wake up.
Absolutely. And I'm so grateful for that. And I do pray as I'm looking out the window. I pray and I just speak my gratitude actually out loud, quietly, and out loud, and just let the world know that I'm just so grateful.
And you're a mom
And
to four,
mhm.
right? Because when you said you speak it quietly, I was like, well, why is it quiet? But then I remember that you got a lot
Yes,
of little ears over there.
yes. And I just have to get my morning started before they wake up. And so as I'm getting my children dressed and ready, I'm also singing to them. I'm always so jolly in the morning, which they don't always like, but that's just me. I'm already happy and I'm giving my gratitude. And so I just like to deliver that to them as well as they get
So,
going off to school.
so you start the day with, it sounds like the gratitude, and then is it,
Mhm.
you said you're singing? Are you listening to music or you're
I
just singing?
I'm just singing.
Okay.
I wake them up singing. I do. I wake them up singing, and they know it's time to wake up and get up and let's get ready to go. And I actually think that actually helps my children as well.
I know
Um,
it does. I'm
yeah,
sure it does.
and start off the day in a good foot. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, and so through, after they're gone, also I go out on nature walks most of the time. I'll go out by the
Yes.
water and just take a walk um, and go outdoors. If it's not by the water, I'm just going for a walk and just take a breath and just take it all in.
And it's funny because sometimes we say those things and it's like, yeah, I just get up and I look out the window and I sing a
Yeah,
song and I take a walk, but a
yeah.
lot of people don't realize the power in those things, in
Hmm.
being in gratitude, in being mindful instead of worrying about, what's happening at the end of the day or the end of the week, being
Yeah.
able to enjoy your children in the morning,
Hmm. Hmm.
and bring some lightness to the beginning of their day,
Yeah.
and the power of the oxygen going outside. There's so many people
Hmm.
attached to their um, screens
Correct.
in
Yeah.
these little boxes and not leaving the house when those
Yeah.
are also important. And I know you write about a lot of this in your book, but they're also important to your emotional, sense of well-being
Well-being.
and
Hmm.
sense of
It
joy.
is.
So I'm excited. So you got up with the gratitude, you looked out the window, you sang to the kids, you took a walk.
Yes, yes.
I know
Um,
you've told me before about your evening routine, but like, how's the middle of the day go?
the middle of the day is not so smooth and jolly. I also
Middle of the day.
have some businesses that I'm operating, so I have to dive into that, and so that's why I find it important to um, you know take my time and be calm because I know like I have to do other things and do some meetings and organize orders or whatever I have to do in order to make it through the day. Um,
Yeah, so you have your work day like the rest of us that you have
of
to
course,
kind of get
yeah,
through. And then so
yeah.
how do you wrap up the end of your golden day? What's that look?
So after my children are home from school and I'm finished with my day job, I'm basically cooking, doing regular mom routine. But when it's time for bed is when things are a little more golden for the whole family. So I like to play music where we play a lot of music in the home and I like to play music throughout the house and I'll um, put in some essential oils throughout the house and get the house smelling like some lavender to keep the house calm and cooling down. Um, and just keep the house calm and it sets the mood for the time for bed.
Yeah,
Um, yeah.
I
And
love that.
so, yeah, thank you.
Mhm.
And when I guide them off to bed, and that's when I have to do some meditation for myself as well. So I'll meditate. Sometimes I'll take a bath as well and meditate also in the bathtub, just to bring some more relaxation if my day was just really hectic. Um,
Oh, I want to come
and
to your house now. What kind of
and
music do you guys listen to?
so we play a lot of things like NDR Reid. I don't know if anybody knows about NDR Reid, so we sing that.
Yes.
We'll play a little bit of Erica Badu, some of the songs the
Yes.
children love to listen to. Songs like that to just bring some soft mellow to the house. Oh, my children also like, piano music or like soft jazz music. So
I
that as
asked
well.
that because, there's so much music with negative messaging that's
Hmm.
not healthy for adults, let alone for kids. So I just
Absolutely.
wanted to be clear, when you say you're playing music, I'm thinking, I don't think she's playing, trap music.
No, 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 no. No.
It's important, right? Because
Yeah.
it's what you are allowing into your mind.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah. And then I was also wondering at the end of the day what kind of meditation you do.
Okay. So I usually do mindful meditation. Sometimes I just sit quietly with my eyes closed and I just basically ask myself how I'm doing. Usually my body will answer me. I know some people, it might sound weird, but my body will answer me and tell me how I'm feeling, or if I have to take my meditation further into a different type of meditation, or lay down. Usually I'll sit up doing meditation, or if I'm feeling a little anxious, I'll just lay it down and yeah. So that's what I usually
I
do.
love that though, because it's like, it's very simple. Like in the beginning when we started with the three breaths,
Hmm.
that's easy, accessible. Anyone listening knows they can access that later. And what you said, I had not heard before. I teach meditation and have done different types of meditation. But I love the idea at the end of the day, just kind of getting quiet and saying, how are you doing, Trish? And
Hmm.
see what comes up. For some folks, they'll recommend, if you have a question and you want an answer, to
Hmm.
ask the question in the evening or write the question in the evening in a journal. And then in the morning, see what the answer is because
Hmm.
usually it'll process. Um,
Hmm.
because many times we have the information that we're looking for inside of
Right.
us,
That's true. Yep.
you
That
know,
is true.
but it's a question of do we ever slow down long enough to
Yeah.
check in and
Yeah.
ask ourselves, how are you doing?
Yes. That's
Hmm.
why I did mention that in my book as well. I hope you guys will be able to read it because it is
Absolutely.
important to slow down your
Absolutely.
life. It's
I got my
very,
beautiful copy right here. Love it. Seven
it's so
Steps to a Golden Life, a guided journal for Black women healing from childhood trauma. So let's get
yeah.
back into the book because I know I took you on a whole journey that
Yes,
she
you did.
wasn't expecting.
Not at all. Not at all.
so, so I asked you the most difficult part of your childhood, and you were really saying that it was being responsible at such a young age.
Yeah.
How do you feel like that responsibility impacted you in your adulthood?
Oh, I think I did answer that, but to elaborate, it was very hard for me to accept help from anyone.
Oh, yes,
And
right.
so I took on the burden to take care of everyone and everything and take on multiple jobs. I used to work like two jobs, sometimes three jobs at a time. I can do it. I'll do this. I'll do that. Um, and it was really hard for me, even though I was taking on a lot of responsibility for everybody. It was just really hard. So um, I had to really learn to accept help from other people in order for me to calm myself down a little bit more and um, just really accept help and be able to enjoy life a little bit more without carrying the burden of other people and the huge responsibility of everybody else and
Was there a
everything.
point where you felt like you made that pivot or like you had an aha moment where you were just like, I'm doing too much?
Mm. Well, yeah. Um, well, the age around, I would say around 17. I mean, I lived almost a whole teenage year where I was doing that. But around 17, I just realized like this is too much for me and things have to change right now. So yeah, that's when I
Mhm.
really, really got into my life and um, changed everything about the way I was living. Mhm.
Okay. Um, do you think that it had to do with because I know this is something that not even just women deal with or Black women deal with, but I think everybody deals with feeling worthy,
Yeah.
and reaching a point where you realize that you have the value so that you want to take care of yourself, instead of
Hmm.
just giving, giving, giving all the time without
Yeah.
having that sense of self-worth. So it
Hmm.
sounds like around 17 was when you kind of started to really realize that you had maybe more value than,
Right.
I don't want to put words in your mouth, but does that sound?
Yeah. No, that is true. When around 17, I had more value and I understood a little bit more on how I can maneuver my life a little bit more now that when I was getting older. Even though,
Mhm.
as I was a child, I knew how I wanted life to form for myself, and I knew how to. I don't want to give the book away too much, but I knew how
It's good, you guys. It's pretty juicy.
I knew how I wanted to live my life and how things should be, but to actually live your life in that way is around 17 is when I really took the leap and to do exactly what I was dreaming of.
Hmm. Okay. So I'm sure that many people listening might want to write a book
Hmm.
and tell their story, because what we really probably didn't say is that your book really is a memoir. It has this um, journal element to it, and it teaches all of these wonderful lessons, but it also
Hmm.
tells your story. So for people who maybe have thought about writing a book or are thinking about telling their story, is there anything that you could recommend? I don't know how
Hmm.
long it was before you actually embarked on this project, because I know a lot of people like think about it for a long time before they do anything. But what
Oh
would you
yeah.
recommend for someone who's thinking about, maybe writing their first book?
So, you're right. I was thinking about writing a book for years. I would say since I was a teenager. Um, and even when I looked into writing a book, I didn't think I could afford it. And so it was really scary and really hard, but I still wrote down certain things and just try to jot down things and hope for the best. But now times have changed, and I think right now, if you're wanting to write a book, I think you should start journaling and writing down some notes and thinking about how you want to bring out your book or elaborate your journey if you want to write about your journey. And if you can't figure out how you want to write your book, I think you should contact Trish in order to, she can help you out and maybe brainstorm and help you organize your thoughts in order to get your project started.
I love that you said contact Trish, and I didn't even tell her to say that.
Not at all. Not at
But
all.
I
I
had
think it's a
a I had
great
a great
idea.
time working with you, and I love, love, love coaching authors. Um, so it's spring now.
Hmm.
And for me, that's really the time of year where I want to go out and, buzz around like a little bee, living my best life. So in your
Hmm.
book, you offer 7 steps, right? Your 7 steps to a golden life. Can you share a couple of steps that you might recommend at this time of year? And I don't know, we might have touched on them already when I was talking about, what your day
Hmm.
is like, but anything that pops to mind that you would want to share with the audience?
what pops to mind is one is decluttering your, well, in my book, I have a chapter that's talk about decluttering your lifestyle.
Mhm.
And I think the part about decluttering your household um, is a good start because you want to live in a household that brings you joy. And especially in spring, you can do some spring cleaning, get rid of the old stuff that's in your home. You can also brighten up your home and make it look more spring and also smell like spring. I like to have my house smell like lemon throughout the day. So when I walk in, I'm smelling lemon, it just feels
Yeah,
springish.
yeah,
And
yeah.
so, and I have a lot of yellow around my home. So I do change my decor in the home to just look like spring and just feel good when you walk in the home. So
Yeah.
I
And
do.
that's the second
Hmm.
time that you spoke about fragrances.
Hmm.
And we've all heard the word aromatherapy, or at least for me, that was one of the first things I heard thrown around. And it's kind of like, yeah, okay, whatever. But it's so real. Like for me, I love to burn incense.
Hmm.
And there's certain ones that I like when I'm working, and there's other ones I like when I'm meditating. And
Hmm.
there's a lot of power in fragrance, and it's
Yeah.
inexpensive, to
Yes.
make your house smell like lemons or to have some lavender. What do you use? Do you use like a diffuser or something? Or do
I
you,
use a diffuser. Mm-hmm.
yeah, so a diffuser or potpourri
Yep.
or however you do it. But yeah, it can really
Hmm.
shift your emotions
Yes,
depending
it
on the
does.
fragrances you create. All right, so
Hmm.
one of the steps was decluttering and creating like a lovely space for yourself. Is there
Hmm.
any other step that you would share for springtime or
Yeah.
maybe just your favorite?
My favorite, I did speak on that, is taking a walk in nature, especially around water, if you have a body of water around your town. If not, you can go to a park and just, do it in solitude as well. Do it by yourself and just take a walk without no phone around in your ears or around you, just all by yourself and just take in the nature and the sounds that's around you. I think that's
Mhm.
important. Hmm.
Yeah, nature is always so important. It's funny to me, like, when you can't sleep at night, you go on Spotify or whatever and look for nature sounds
Yes, yes, I
because
used
we're
to do
just
that.
hardwired, to want
Hmm.
to hear that sound of like a babbling brook or, the ocean or the rustling of the leaves or,
Hmm.
those different things. I like the sound of cicadas, I think is
Oh,
how you say it. You know, cicadas?
I don't. Oh, the bugs?
When you go in the country
Yes, I know. Yes, I
and
do.
it's like that chirp, chirp, chirp.
Yes, yes, yes.
But
Yeah.
apparently now the cicadas are like swarming in certain places and they're like huge. So
Hmm.
I don't know if I'd like that, but like, like cricket noises and
I
all
know
those
exactly what you're
forest
talking about
sounds.
now. My favorite sound is rain. I love the sound of
I
rain.
love rain.
I love the
Yeah.
sound of
I used to
rain.
run outside whenever it rained to like sit on the porch or sit in my car or
Hmm. Hmm.
whatever. So yeah, and that's another sound that you can buy or you can actually try to experience it in your own life and
That is
experience the
true.
effect of that. Um, and also I think it keeps us in the moment, right? Like if it
Hmm.
rains and we go to the rain to listen, like we're in the moment with nature versus putting on a
Yeah,
rain recording later when it's not raining, you know.
right. It's just not natural at all. Yes. But yes.
So when I wrote 12 Steps to Mind-Blowing Happiness, people would always say, well, what is the one most important step? For me, it was transforming anger into either calm or constructive action. So that's how I ended up writing The Anger Myth. But so
Hmm.
for you, you have seven steps to a golden life. If somebody said to you, what is the one step? Would it be nature? Or what would be like the one step? Like if I threw out the rest and I only did one, because that's all the time I had to have a golden life. Which
Hmm.
one would you point me to?
Well, um, the one step would be changing your mindset, changing the way you see life. Um, I think that's the one step I think you should consider is changing your mindset and changing the way you think about life. And I think that would be the first step and the most important step in
I
order
couldn't
to
agree
change.
more because I
Hmm.
always say, there are people who are very wealthy living in mansions who are miserable.
Hmm.
And then you got
Yes.
me over here who's not in a mansion, and Angelique over there who I don't think is in a mansion.
No, not
You
yet.
could be living your best life. Not yet, right?
Not yet.
Yeah. So I like that. So definitely mindset. When you think about mindset, I know we talked about meditation. Is there anything that is like your favorite mindset practice, or like how do you change your mindset?
um, you think about, well, if you know how you're living now and you think about how you really want to live, um, and you decide how you decide what you can do different each day or even each hour, you can write it down and start writing down what you can change about your life, what you're doing now and what you want to change, and decide and make the decision that you're going to do it today and actually do it. So that's one way you can change your mindset.
Okay. So instead of thinking about I guess what's not working, right?
Hmm.
Or how you feel about your current situation, it sounds like you're saying for people to start thinking about what they want, what they
Right.
want their life to look like, writing
Hmm.
it down, and
Right.
taking an action step. And instead of taking an action step next month,
Right.
what you could do now,
Do
which,
what you can do right now.
yeah.
Hmm.
All right. I love it. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, So you have given us a lot of wonderful little tips that we can work with between the fragrances and the nature and the music and
Hmm.
singing in the morning, um, decluttering, all kinds of
Hmm.
good stuff to help us live our golden life.
Hmm.
So I just want to encourage our listeners to grab a copy of this book. First off, I think the cover is just, oh my, I got my little background, but I think the cover is just so gorgeous. Every time I look at it, it makes me just smile. And inside her book, besides telling you her story, which is just such a compelling story, Anjali also shares these 7 tips, and she gives us the opportunity to do some exercises, do some journaling, and kind of work through how we can incorporate this golden life into
Hmm.
our lives. And I know at the end of the book you encourage your readers to start a book club and maybe go through it with some other folks, which I
Right.
think is just a wonderful way to spend, like, a few Sunday afternoons in the spring, getting together with your friends and talking
Right.
about creating a really beautiful life, changing your mindset. So,
Hmm.
thank you so much for sharing all of this wisdom with us. Do you have anything else that you want to share with us before we wrap up?
Um, yeah, I do know that childhood trauma is a difficult subject and a difficult thing to live and go through. So I do recommend you purchasing the book and just take the steps slowly, um, at your own pace. Um, and just take your time. And even if it gets difficult, just keep going and just get through it, and you'll be okay.
All right. So, I did want to mention also, because it's World Meditation Day,
Yeah.
that when you purchase The Anger Myth, which is my new book, and you send me a copy of your receipt, I will send you a free meditation. And it was really about transforming anger and negative emotions. So I would love that as well. And how can people find you, Anjali? Where where
Oh,
where where do you stay? How can we connect with you if we want to find out more about this golden life?
okay, sure. You can find me at www.angelimorris.com. You can also find me on Instagram at Anjali Morris underscore, and also on YouTube at Anjali Morris.
Okay, and that's Anjali. So for anyone who remembers, I can bring home the bacon, fried up in a pan. This, we're Gen X, so it's Anjali, Enjoli Morris, Morris.com.
Mhm.
And I know that you have a free offer on your website as well. I think
Mhm.
it's a checklist for the golden life,
Oh, yes.
something like
Yes,
that.
you can sign up to get your Golden Life checklist. And also, I'm also going to host a book club at the end of June. So if you sign up for my mailing list, you can be one of the first to know about that as well.
That sounds wonderful. So make sure to go on her website, get on her mailing list so you can get the invitation to her book discussion. Grab yourself a copy of Seven
Yes.
Steps to a Golden Life. And thank you so much, Anjali, for having this conversation with me. It has
You're
been a
welcome.
pleasure as always. I think you did a great job.
Thank you. Thank you, Trish, for having me. I appreciate it so much.
Thank you. And for everyone listening, I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Mind Blowing Happiness Podcast. You can visit my website, trishajelroberts.com, to get your free self care ebook and join my community. And if you want to learn more about my book, The Anger Myth, or take the Anger Myth quiz and find out if you're maybe angrier than you might know, you can visit theangermyth.com. Thank you, and everyone have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Good night, everybody.